So, as I touched on before, so I grew up from the age of 6 months to the age of 18 in 2 children's homes or orphanages, depending which one you know better, in London. And I mean, so there I had a lot of different mentors. Mentors for doing things. Again, most people talk about right and wrong. I prefer to talk about decisions and consequences. So, because I was a very shy kid, I was able to sit back and look at some of the 18 other orphans, which were all older than me. I was always the youngest one. I was able to see the choices that they made and the outcomes which followed. So for example, one particular guy, name of Lee, beautiful guy, precocious as they come, used to wear trilby hats similar to this one, but with the lid turned down. And Lee was an amazing cat. He was precocious, he's putting a finer tip on him. He had style, he had grace. He used to walk with this little, this cane with this ornate headpiece to it, I think it was gold or something. He's always had this little joint hanging out his mouth. So he was a crazy guy, and always had a swagger about him, Now one day, Lee was in a pub, and he was playing pool. And, he had an argument, what looked like an argument with this other male, arguing, and the upshot of it was it became a lot more violent, so it escalated. Next thing we know, this particular male pulled out a gun and shot him in the head. So Lee was dead, pronounced dead at the scene, and it had a massive effect on all of us, because it was like a big family, And I think at the time, me for sure, I'm not sure about the other guys, but I didn't know that Lee was potentially a drug dealer. I knew him as this precocious kid who was bulletproof, and he was always sailing pretty close to the wind. So then breaking it down, I kind of saw these things close up. There were other things that basically happened there, from racist attacks to, police doing the wrong thing to police doing the right thing. I just got a great sense of understanding of the world isn't always as you think it should be. And certain situations and things which happened to me, I'll give you one more story. There was, I was walking down the street with one other friend, and we walked past this pub, and I heard this voice, "Oi, nigger, go back to your own fucking country." And this guy came over, taller than me, older than me. I was probably 11, 12 at the time. I was still tall for my height, but this guy's an adult. Next thing I know, I get in an argument with this guy, and he hits me. I fall to the ground. And then something happened. So the friend I was with, Andy, hit this guy. That guy falls to the ground. But by now, there's 2 or 3 other people coming out the pub. I'm running, and I thought Andy was running as well, but he wasn't. So when I turned back, what I saw was Andy now on the floor, and 8, 9, 10 people kicking him. He was in a fetal position, trying to hold and trying to cover up all his vital organs, and head and guts and everything else. But they were kicking him. They wouldn't stop. More people came out. Now at this point, something strange happened. But what I was seeing before me, thinking that the next wave of guys to come out were going to break it up and actually help this friend of mine. And I was standing there, should I go back and get beaten up as well, or should I stand and wait? I was in 2 minds. I felt guilt, fear, anguish, all of those things, and I was just frozen. I'll never forget it. More people came out, and more people kept on kicking him. So what ended up happening is that I think some girlfriends of the guys which came out put them to shame. Said, you guys, there's 10, 12, 14, 15 of you. There's one of him. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. And as the guys felt shamed into stopping, and then Andy got up, and we got out of there. But that left me, with a really clear understanding of what my purpose was, which I touched on earlier on, which was about, because that's ignorance. Go back to your own country. I was born in that country. What are you talking about? Because my skin is different. I was born somewhere else. My parents may be different, but I was born and I'm just as English as you are, right? So these things were left with me, over time. But then what I realized was that we need to find ways to bring us closer together, not tear us apart, right? And when you break it down, when you break down human beings into their constituent elements, we're all the same, regardless of colour, skin tone, worldview, ideology, we're the same. You know, we have the same things which affect us in terms of inspiring us to be better, to be greater, or taking us down a downward spiral, you know, to exhibit and to, you know, take on the traits of like filter feeders of fear, and everything which comes through that. So bringing everything together, you know, so what I learned in the orphanage, I'll give you two examples, were extreme examples. And I was able to overcome that adversity and realize something really important, realize the value of self and knowledge and the value of understanding that, you know, just a smile, you know, that you give to somebody else can break someone's worldview of what you should be. And then if you take that a step further, you start to talk about it, you start to engage people, and you start to speak, you start to have a business and interact with people every single day, then things change. Because they're seeing you, regardless of what they've been taught about, then becomes eroded because they actually had that direct contact, that direct relationship. And if you can create workshops, I did one with Tribe Warrior recently, but if you can create workshops around it, and you start talking about dreams and the value of purpose and the value of goals to reach those dreams and to, you know, to satisfy those purposes, then you start realizing how similar we are and how many things we have that tying us and binding us together and not pushing us apart. So coming to Redfern, or to the youth of today, what I do when I'm addressing my keynote is that I'm showing them, you know, that they don't have to listen to me because I'm telling them what to do. All I'm doing is sharing stories of things which I came up against and how I overcame them. Because there are certain things which I did, which if you follow those things, those particular things, they're like tenets, they're things which I learned along the way in meditation and visualizing and overcoming adversity and overcoming speed humps. These things, you know, I learned through those stories. And then when I have a chance to share those stories, then people actually realize that it's coming from someone who's lived them. And I believe the next generation has a great chance into eroding some of these stereotypes that some areas of the media are continually pushing or reinforcing or trying to seed into our minds of what the case is, where in reality it really isn't that way.